That voice right there is a voice of power, and I say that for many reasons. Earlier on the show, I talked about Muhammad Ali. He was the first hero in my life. Right. One of the first books I ever read was a book called The Greatest. And the first book report I ever did as a youngster in elementary, going to Manzanita Elementary in Oakland, California, it was a book about Muhammad Ali. And from there, my affinity for boxing began as a young man, as I watched fights in the 70s as a kid that my great uncle Salis Murph used to watch. Whether it was the Thriller in Manila, I didn't know what it was, whether Ali fighting George Foreman or Leon Spinks, or watching Sugar Ray Leonard and Thomas Hearns fight, or, I got a chance to see a lot of incredible, great historical fights. But the thing I like most about boxers is what they have to go through before they even enter the ring, and what they have to endure when they're out of the ring. When you talk about this next guest who's been on our show many a times, we celebrate him for many reasons. He's an undefeated fighter. Give him a round of applause for that. World champion in multiple weight classes. Give him a applause for that.
Yes.
Inducted into the International Boxing Hall of Fame. Give him a round of applause for that. He's an Olympic champion. Give him a round of applause for that.
Wow.
He's from Oakland, California. And like only a few greats decided to walk away from the sport that people learned that he was great from to do something even greater, to pursue an even greater cause. His departure from the sport had nothing to do with the sport as much as it had to do with him, not allowing the sport to define who he was. He wanted to be a father. He wanted to walk into his faith. He wanted to be a present husband, and those things superseded being a champion in the ring. He became a champion outside the ring. I want to welcome my brother, the one and only Andre Ward, is here. Heather B. Heather B, you know where he's from. Heather B, tell him, Dre, tell him where you from, man.
Yeah, man, North Oakland, man. 50-50 market.
Yay!
Yes, sir.
Bush Rod.
But I'm really a Bay Area baby.
Yes, you are.
Through and through.
Talk about that, man.
Man, I love the Bay, man, and different place, blue collar type of place. Fighting spirit. Don't get the credit that we deserve. Mm-hmm. We got some of the greatest talent, athletes, entertainers, just individuals in general. And we just, they call us a small market, but it's a lot of power that comes out of that small market, and I'm happy to be from there.
It's interesting, Dre, that we were talking. Dre was just saying off the mic. You came in. Who you walk in with?
That's my brother, Deontay Thompson. He directed my documentary. Mm-hmm. And we went to school together. Yeah. And we keep him off the mic. Okay. Because he knew Young Dre.
Okay.
And he's a storyteller.
Okay.
So he added a little bit extras on top. So I'm like, brother, you gonna stay right there. But it's an inside joke though. That's my brother, man. I love him. He's been there from the beginning. And it's funny because we grew up together, and I went my own path, went to the Olympics, and we kind of separated just life. Mm-hmm. And then we came back together. Families is as close as ever. We go to the same church. It's just a beautiful thing.
Man, okay, Andre Ward is here. One of the things you talked about, great job on the documentary too, by the way.
Mm-hmm. And Rachel Newbeck as well. She was also co-director. Want to shout her out.
Rachel, peace to Rachel. One of the things we talked about is you said, Sway, man, you've been doing this a long time, man, and you've been doing it at such a top level. I'm paraphrasing, and you grew up watching me do this in high school.
Junior high school.
Wow.
Dre, ease up, Dre.
Okay. High school.
We
starting to be like your man's, Dre.
Yeah,
telling them stories.
We just say high school, my bad.
Dre, what you doing, man?
High school, my bad.
And I told you, I started telling you the story about this Oakland High block jacket, and that I was an OAL champion in all 3 years of high school, and it surprised you. And I said I have that competitiveness. And that came from Oakland. What kind of character traits do you feel like Oakland gave you to help you endure all the adversity we found out about in this book and make you a champion?
Yeah, it's the town, it's the Bay Area, and it's my family, I don't necessarily feel like, what's the right way to say it? I don't know if somebody can give you something like that.
Okay.
Because I know cats that, and I done been in nationals as a kid, and kids, I grew up here, I'm in the projects. And they feel some heat, and they turn. Yeah. And I know some kids that from the Valley, and they'll fight you to the death. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it was innate in me, and it was just cultivated where I grew up cultivated what was already in me.
Yeah.
My father's teachings and the way he was. Like when I got knocked down from, Kovalev the first time and I got up and I smiled, that was my daddy.
That was your dad.
That was Duke Ward.
Mm-hmm.
So it was in me. It just got cultivated and built up even more just based on how I was raised, where I was raised, and who raised me.
Duke was a fighter himself, though.
Yes, sir.
When you read this book, which is your book, man, I didn't know about your story like this.
Yeah.
Your father was the type that didn't back down from a fight, right?
Not at all.
And even in the book, you said sometimes it'll make you a little apprehensive and nervous because you knew that at any given moment your father could snap. What was that like?
It was interesting. It was scary as a kid because, it's strange because my dad was literally the man that would give a jacket off. I've seen him do it to a homeless person. Hey, man, take this. We be coming out of a restaurant. Hey, take this. Dad, why you give me a jacket? Because I got another one. He doesn't have one. But just don't cross him. Just don't cross his babies. And he would just see a different side. And I'm thankful that I don't have that in me. Because we may be having some different conversations on the show. Y'all would have been reading about me on the bottom of the Sports Center ticket.
Oh, damn.
War did this, war did that. I'm thankful I can take that deep breath if I get mad or upset and think through my situation. My dad wasn't there. And he got better as he got older, but he had that temper, man. And he could fight, he could throw down. And then, as you read in the book, it was the whole biracial thing, too. My father was white. My mother was black. So, especially in the 90s, you look and people just stare.
Yeah.
And if they made a comment, it was on. And I don't care where we were at, it was going down.
So if somebody said something to your father about the kid, you being black, this little black boy.
Yeah, what you doing with these black boys, or just staring? He wouldn't just take off immediately, but what you looking at? And if he didn't get, if it was a equally aggressive response, it's probably gonna go up in the grocery store, wherever.
You witnessed this
many times.
Wow. So how he would explain to you as a biracial kid about the world and how to just cope with that? What would he say to you?
He would tell me it was wrong. Number one, he said, man, nobody should be looking at you or commenting on nothing we got going on. This is our family, and the color of your skin doesn't matter in that respect. Like I'm your father, and you're my son, and people need to be okay with that. And if they're not, then that's on them. That's essentially how he would put it to me. And I didn't fully understand it because it's times that, I'm viewed and have always been viewed as a young African-American man, period. And it's a surprise when people find out my father is white. But you got to deal with both sides. Sometimes growing up, not in my family, but in society, just the fact that, the white side don't always embrace you because you black. And the black side got something to say because you got white in you. It was a lot trying to navigate that as a kid, and you trying to find yourself. And like, again, I'm looked at a certain way in society, but when I go home, my father's white. All my other friends, they their mom or dad or both are black. So that was a lot to deal with growing up.
On top of that, your mom, give a round of applause for your mother.
Yeah.
A beautiful black woman. She faced a lot of challenges, though, that you had to endure as a kid. She had problems with addiction, correct?
Yeah.
At what age did you realize that, and what was that like?
Man, I probably started getting wind of it, or at least understanding it probably, 12, 13.
Okay.
You start realizing, your family can only cover stuff up for so long, and my mother, I would hear about it earlier than that, but I didn't really get it. I started getting it around 12 or 13, and I just realized that she was absent. And I realized, that I had that longing, a lot of, black males, they don't have a father. My situation was reversed. I didn't have my mother. And I would see my friends, have their mother and their father. And it wasn't resentment, but it was just a longing, like, man, I want to be able to, I love my dad, but man, I want my mom too. And, I knew that she was in San Francisco. I'm in the East Bay. Yeah. And she was in, Hunters Point and Fillmore, and that's where those were her stomping grounds. I just knew she wasn't present, bro. And then she would show up, for 2 or 3 days, and really she was just sleeping the dope off and trying to get herself together. And then I knew eventually she was going to be gone. So I always had that knot in my stomach, that feeling of when is she leaving? When is she leaving? When is she leaving? And I knew she was leaving because her and my father would always get in a fight because she would eventually ask for money, and my dad would blow up and get mad, and they would go at it. And that was my childhood for many, many years. And but it's crazy because I talk about this early in the book. My mother and my father, in the time they grew up, bro, crack, heroin. I mean, it was an epidemic, and they didn't know. Like, we know what that stuff can do to you now.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, people still mess with it. They didn't know. They just trying to get high, have a good time, and escape. And they didn't realize, man, these are going to be lifelong addictions that you're going to have to fight for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So because I understood that, I'm able to forgive my mother. I'm able to release her from all of that stuff because she did the best she could with what she had. And, man, that woman is still standing today.
Yeah,
Man,
come on, man.
bless her.
Come on, man. Say her name, man.
Madeline.
Mm-hmm.
Madeline Harvey, my mother.
Yeah.
We go to the same church.
Okay.
She beat me to the church. I get there. She's like, Mama, what you doing here? She working in the cafe. And, you know, a lot of times as young people, we don't reconcile what happened in our childhood.
Mm-hmm.
We just stuff it. And we don't realize we got unforgiveness toward mom. We got unforgiveness toward dad. We got unforgiveness toward grandma. And we just leave it. And that stuff is really slowly poisoning us. And it's causing us to not have the relationship we should have with those individuals while they're alive. And then we have regret when they pass. By the grace of God, man, I can't let that happen. My father died abruptly in 2002. My mother's still here. I'm going to honor my mother, love my mother, forgive my mother, and keep doing life with my mother for as long as she here.
Andre Ward here, man. We talking about his new book, Killing the Image, A Champion's Journey of Faith, Fighting, and Forgiveness. It's available everywhere books are sold. You may not realize this about this superstar champion inside the ring, but at 16 years of age, it's when you had your first child.
Yeah, I was 17. Yeah.
You was when the child was born, but Tiffany was
she
was pregnant at 16. Yeah, you got in early, bro.
Yeah.
All right.
Super early.
Yeah, and you know, I was older when I had my child, but I knew when she was on the way, I didn't know how it was going to impact my life, right? You know, I was like, oh shit, what's going to happen now? Like, how does this change? What does this do for me? I can only imagine at 17 how you must have felt. What I thought you must have felt in the book. It seemed like you were looking forward to the birth of a child.
It was a mixed bag. I was scared to death.
Okay.
Let's get that out the way.
Let's get that out
right now.
All right.
Dad was scared to death.
Yeah.
Because all I ever heard was, if you have a baby early, that's it. That's it.
Yeah.
That's what we raised hearing. And so when I got that call, like I was scared, but I'm not a runner. You know, this was new territory, obviously, but I was like, we gonna figure this out. I don't know how, but we gonna figure this out. So it was like a mixed bag, you know. But I was scared, bro.
Yeah.
I didn't know what I was a kid having a kid. You hear people say that, but I was a kid having a kid. And I'm grateful for my dad because I thought he was gonna kill me. And he pivoted pretty quickly and went from, what was you doing? How'd you do this? I told you not to do something like this, to who is she? Let's talk to her. We got to figure this out. So that helped. Because if he'd have just left me out there, I wouldn't have made it.
Would you
get some water, yo?
Yeah, let's get the champ some water. We don't have water here. What's up? Yo, Kalani, get him some water. What I thought was interesting is Tiffany.
Yes.
Right? Is who you had your child with. She wrote a note in the book, right? And in that note, she talked about how she, too, was relieved by your response to the news that you guys were going to have a baby. I thought that was really interesting hearing from Tiffany in the book, and then you saying that you admired her because she was so mature when all of this was happening, right? Can you speak on your relationship?
I mean, I'm going to just touch on that part. Like, she was relieved from my response, but I'm relieved by her response.
Okay.
Because she grew up in the Seattle area, and for me, people were saying, your career is over. For her, they were saying, your life is over.
Yeah.
And she was, she was young and rebellious at that time. But for whatever reason, I could see something in her. And I'm young saying this, right? Like I'm an old head. Like I can see something in you. I could see something in her at a young age, and I'm like, she's different. Like I can't really explain it, but she's different. And I saw people, even her own family at that time, ostracize her. She was the kid with the baby in high school. You know, the only one.
The kid with the baby in high school.
That was her. I never saw her ashamed of our son, Dre Jr. I never saw her ashamed of me. And I just seen her, so she was feeding me, giving me life, seeing that. And that gave me a little bit more boldness to be like, yeah, we are going to figure this out. Maybe I didn't choose the wrong one.
Mm-hmm.
And we just built from there, bro. And here's the thing, like, man, I'm so grateful that I have my wife right now, and I'm not searching for a wife.
Yeah.
In this day and age,
Let's talk about it.
trying to figure it out.
Mm.
Man, we came together. All I had was a dream.
Mm-hmm.
I'm telling her like, yeah, I box and I'm number one in the nation and I'm going to the Olympics. She like, all right, that's cool. Yeah, I play basketball. I'm like, nah, I do this. Like, I'm really good. She's like, that's cool. Yeah, it's all right. And it took time for her to realize what I was really working with and who I really was. But Sway, we built from nothing.
Yeah.
So at every step, like, I ain't gotta look at this. She with me for the money. No, she was with me when I had nothing.
Yeah.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
I just had a dream. So every time I would fight,
Yeah.
the California Commission or New York Commission, whatever state I fought in, they come in there and give me my check. I'm giving that to my wife.
You handed it to her.
Yeah, don't take that.
Even the bigger ones?
All of them.
You handed every one of your
The
checks. to your-
biggest one she got.
Nice.
And that's our money, but it's a symbol of thank you. You've been holding us down for 8 weeks while I've been in training camp. You've been holding us down for years while I've been in and out. Man, it's you. It's us, but this is you.
Yeah.
Thank you. And I try to always make sure it's a we and a us thing. Why you always say that? Because it is. I can't do what I do without you. And sometimes I feel bad because I'm like, girl, like, my wife is smart.
Yeah.
Like, innately smart.
Mm-hmm.
And she could have did anything she wanted to do. She could have went to college. She could have had multiple degrees. I tell her she should have been a lawyer. We be talking and going back and forth. I'm like, see, that's that lawyer in you right there. You missed your calling.
Uh-huh.
She could have been anything she wanted to, and she gave all that up for my dream. So, man, I'm forever grateful for that woman. I think y'all are gonna be hearing her voice more and more because this isn't the only book that we gonna write.
Okay.
We got a marriage book that we working on that's in the queue.
Okay.
We talking about a marriage podcast because, and it's not that we got it all together. It's just that we gonna share everything, the struggles and how we overcame, how our faith is the foundation, and people need to see some of that. They need to hear some of that. And that woman got a story. My wife's testimony, like her whole testimony, is colder than mine.
It's colder than yours?
Oh, my goodness.
Wow.
And she's different than me. Like, I had to overcome a lot of shame and a lot of stuff to be able to write this. Because, you looking back at your older self, like, bro, you was tripping.
Yeah. You were robbing drug dealers.
Yeah, I did that.
This dude was robbing drug dealers, setting them up.
Strong arm.
What would you say to him? How would you, like, can you recall a time you robbed one? What did you say?
I would look at what they brought.
What you gonna say?
And look, I
Being
just
an op, you gonna get him in trouble. He
The
passed
statute of limitations. The statute of limitations.
Has it passed?
Yes.
it better. I'm 20 years ago.
20 years ago. So
Nah,
give me-
it just,
What'd
man,
you say?
I
What'd you
just
say? Like,
just
what-
strong. It's mine. I'm taking this.
Oh my gosh.
And what you gonna do? But it was dangerous because they didn't do nothing in the moment. But like I detail in the book, here go the rumors. I'm gonna kill him.
Yeah.
If I see him, I'm gonna kill him. Don't nobody like their stuff being taken. So I had to overcome a lot of shame and stuff like that. My wife, she like, look, I'm not that person no more. God has done a work in my life. I ain't got no shame. And she just tells it like it is. And I love that about her. She got a freedom and a liberty about her, man, that's contagious. It's a beautiful thing.
I love it. Andre Ward is here, man. He been through a whole career, and this dude, look at his face, man. This dude don't have no blemishes.
But
or
see, that's what
nothing.
they be saying. Why you retired? Because I'm trying to keep my
Trying to
stuff
preserve
together.
that, Dre. You ain't got no marks on you.
Man.
And your father's white, but you kunta haired up like all of us, man.
Put your head up.
Yo,
That's my mama's side.
That's your mama's side.
Yeah.
Yo, we got, this is our Big Horse and I, and then maybe Heather and Horse could be on the marriage podcast because they've been married. How many years has been, Horse?
22.
22 years.
We just had
happily
20
married.
this
Y'all
year.
just did 20?
Yeah.
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 But horses are obviously, you've been on our podcast before, Bridge Business, and Horse, look at this guy, man.
Hey, it's amazing looking at you, champ. And I mean, I'm happy that you're here. And I wanted to know, was boxing the only sport you did? Like, did you play football, basketball, different things?
Yeah,
like that?
my first love was baseball. Oh, wow. Yeah, I was a pitcher and a shortstop, and I did that because my dad did it. But he kept the boxing from me. He didn't tell me about that right away. And I was good at baseball. Probably should have stayed playing baseball.
You were that good?
Yeah, I think I would have been good at anything that I did, like business, sports, because I just, like you said, that drive, that competitiveness. You just give me something to do, and I'm gonna have that same thing. So, and I love baseball, but then my dad started telling me about the box. I'm like, wait, you box? And that was a seed right there.
Boxing was a seed. So was there no anger issues that really got you? Like you was a bad kid that had anger issues, and maybe like some kids go to karate and get that discipline into them and stuff like that?
I wouldn't say I had anger issues, but I had stuff. I had a mother that was gone, that was a full-blown addict. I had a father that was a functional addict. And that stuff, sometimes it shows its head early, but sometimes it take time. When I started getting 13, 14, 15, started realizing what was going on, like, oh, mom ain't here because of this. Oh, dad, you going up in that room and you got a drug issue too. That's when the anger and the frustration and the rebellion started coming out. So I would say I didn't get in it because of anger issues. I got in it because of my dad and my love for him, and I wanted to just be just like him. But up the road, it definitely benefited me and helped me with the anger and the frustration and stuff like that.
That's the discipline.
Yeah.
So, I have a question. Oh, sorry.
No, please.
That was a real marriage thing right there.
Shut
you see
up,
how
Sway.
I like that.
You like that?
And then I got to tell him to shut up in the middle of it. Do you have, Andre, again, thanks so much for coming in. Thank you for sharing your story. Shout out to your wife as well. But do you have siblings?
Yeah.
And how did that work then with the dynamic of siblings, and where do you fall in line with the siblings?
I'm the baby. I got 2 older sisters, Jasmine and Tasha. So same mother, different father. And then I have an older brother, Jonathan, who was in the Seattle area. And we had the same father, different mothers.
But you were the only child as a product of your parent growing up in the house with them and seeing that and dealing with your mom being gone and everything?
No, so it's weird. It depended on what season and time in our life. So it was times when we lived together. But then there was a lot of times where, Jasmine and Tasha would be with my grandmother. We called her Mama, my mom's mom. And I would be with my father and my brother. And then my brother left at a certain point, went to Seattle, and it was just me. So it was a lot of movement and just a lot of instability, And that instability, it can breed some trust issues, As I got older, I started realizing that, man, some of the anxiety and stuff I would deal with was that, just not knowing, just always feeling like, man, somebody getting ready to run out. Feeling like, the instability always kind of got me on edge. Like, man, just chill. It's like, I can't. And I would say stuff like that, man, because it ain't no telling what's going to happen. And it just took time for me. And a lot of this came when I gave my life to God, and not even right away, but just as I got older in my faith, started realizing, like, man, you do say this a lot. Man, why do you feel like this? Well, I'll give you a good example. Me and my wife, right? The most important woman in my life, she wasn't there. You don't deal with that wound. You don't address that. You don't counsel through that and talk through that. You just stuff it. Now I got another woman that's the most important woman in my life, my wife. Why am I having issues trusting you? Why do I feel like you gonna walk out? And it took time to unpack that stuff and say, man, that's an old mother wound from back in the day. And I'm 39, 40, and I'm still working through some of that stuff. But I'm a lot better off today than I was before, and at least I can recognize and say, man, that's that thing again. You can't say that. And man, my wife has been a blessing because she right there with me working it out.
Man, Andre Ward is here, man. Let's do this. Let's go to song. We got a few callers, 888-742-3345. Andre Ward is here. I just wanted to give people an inside look of your childhood, know. And this book has so many gems in it. And in it, he explains his early retirement, and he breaks that down. Dre wasn't saying nothing for a long time, man. Pissed us off, too, man. I was losing a lot of money when you was out the ring. All right, but we're going to open up the phone lines. 888-742-3345. Tone, you got us? All right, man, we got Andre Ward is in here with us. The champ is here. The new book is Killing the Image, A Champion's Journey of Faith, Fighting, and Forgiveness. Dre, before we continue, I wanted to shout out this young lady right here. Who catered our show today. Heather and Horace had a chance to go to her restaurant. It's called what?
Grits and Waffles.
There you go. Grits and Waffles is here. This is Andre Ward right here. Hall of Fame boxer.
Yeah, I'm good. I'm excited. I'm ready to feed you. So
Yeah, hey, I'm ready to eat some grits and waffles.
Okay, all right. So what did you bring today?
So today we got some shrimp and grits. It is cheese grits. I know there's a big thing in the neighborhood about sweet versus savory, but at Grits and Waffles, it's equal opportunity. We don't judge you. You can have it with butter and sugar, or you can have it with salt and pepper. We also got some wings and waffles, and we have collard green dip, fried cheese grits, fried sweet grits, and fried deviled eggs.
Okay, I love it. And then where are you located?
We're located at 1243 South Alvarado Street, right off Pico, about 1.5 miles up the street from the Crypto.com arena.
There you go.
Keep doing what you're doing.
Black on, right? Your business.
It don't get no blacker than me.
There you go. I ain't mad at it.
I'm black. I'm a descendant of slave black.
Okay, all right. Okay. Yeah.
My name is Journey Rain from Dallas, Texas, but I'm an LA baby now. Y'all stuck with me.
Okay, and what's your Instagram, your social media?
Everything is under Grits and Waffles. It's GRITZ, the letter N, and Waffles with the Z. I need both Z's. That is very intentional. That's a story for another day.
Okay, absolutely. That's Alexia?
Yes,
my name is Alexia. Okay, thank you for the food. Thank you for feeding us. All right, we appreciate you. Okay?
And the food is incredible.
Yes.
Horse and I went down, sat down, incognito, had an amazing time, amazing experience, and they half and half. Your uptowns, that's what we call it back east, was banging too.
There it is. Okay, thank you. We appreciate you. When we come back, we'll do even bigger, okay? Thank you. All right, cool. Andre Ward is here. Horace, you want to jump back in?
Yeah, your journey to the gold medal with Mr. Virgil Hill, how important was Hunter? Excuse me. How important was it meeting that man right there in your life?
Man, he was more than a trainer. You know, I didn't realize it at the time, but you know, he was playing a dual father role, even while my father was still alive. And he was the ram in the bush when my dad died. You know what I mean? And I appreciated the way he taught me the sport, but then the way he also taught me life. You know, he had a way he knew how to talk to him. He's a probation officer at Juvenile Hall, San Leandro for 20 years. Grew up in West Oakland, so he knew how to get at me, and I needed that, man. If I didn't have that man in his position when my father died, I'm not sure I would have came back. In the book, I talk about veering off, and having my season where I'm in the streets and being hard headed. I don't know if I'd have came back if I didn't have him keeping it 100 with me, talking to me, calling me out the blue. Hey, man, look, bro, I don't know what you're doing, man, but I'm telling you, God got his hand on you. It ain't going to work out, dog. And if I didn't have that, I don't know what I would do. And then in terms of the boxing piece, man, I am so grateful that man taught me the art of boxing. I might not be in my right mind talking to y'all right now if he was just you got to be tough and go in there and fight. Now, I know how to fight, but teach me how to get out the way. Help me to preserve my brain and my body so I can do other things when my career is over. And I got to give him credit for that because he taught me the art of boxing. And even when you start feeling pressure, like Floyd felt, Roy felt, Bernard felt, you see even Devin Haney dealing with it, right? Oh, he's boring. No, what you're saying is the guys that you thought was going to be able to beat me, they can't beat me.
Yeah.
And we make it look easy so you think it's boring. Man, up your game. Up your game and realize that it's something real special you're looking at, and it's just different than what you used to. So I'm grateful for the way he taught me.
Shakur gets that criticism.
And Shakur gets it too.
Yeah, that he's boring.
Yeah. And here go the thing about the boring thing. Like, for a master boxer,
Yeah.
a off night or a boring night is, I didn't get touched that much. I got my check. I kissed my family. You just didn't enjoy the show. I could have performed better. I got to do better next time. If you a guy that just go in there and brawl and just fighting and you don't really know how to box, an off night for you is you sitting in the emergency room. You getting stitched up. You got a concussion and you got to go through concussion protocol. Hey, 30 days. If you're still feeling something, call your doctor. Your family's in there praying you okay. That's for a guy who doesn't really know how to box. But for a master boxer like a Shakur and all the other people I just named, an off night for us is, man, I didn't perform up to my standards, but I ain't got a mark on me.
I see you, Shakur Stevenson, and Terence Crawford hanging out like a triumphant. I feel like behind closed doors, y'all swapping secrets. What are y'all talking about when y'all behind closed doors?
Man, it's high level IQ boxing conversation, but even more than that, it's also life.
Yeah.
It's business. It's all of that. It's how to deal with the pressure that, Shakur is dealing with. It's all of that. I think we're doing the young life. I call them the young life. A disservice if we just focused on your talent and your ability and the thing that gets you in the room. Man, we got to talk more about character. We got to talk more about your faith and what you standing on, because life is gonna happen. What are you reverting back to? Is it drugs? Is it alcohol? Is it women? Or is it your faith in God? Is it something solid? So we talk about all that stuff with him, and Bud has his angle, and I have mine with Shakur. And I've seen Shakur grow a lot throughout the years, man. I'm grateful for his growth. It's not easy. Mm-hmm. Our backgrounds and stuff like that are not, he came up hard, man, in Newark. And it wasn't a perfect situation, but to see him keep battling through all of that, to be a man, a father, one day gonna be married, man, it's a beautiful process to behold.
Love it. Tracy G, you want to ask a question?
Yeah, absolutely. Dre, I'm loving this gift of transparency that you're bringing to us.
I appreciate you.
I, too, agree with you when it comes to hoarding a lot of pain. That you've experienced in your life and how that can lead to resentment or if you're feeling abandoned. And we hear the prescription of forgiveness of others and for self, but I think a lot of people do not know what a process of that looks like. We understand the words and the meaning. Could you give some examples of how to actually get to forgiveness?
I think a couple things. I'll just take you through my process. So the Greek word for offense is scandalon, right? A scandalon was like, imagine it being like a tombstone, like brick looking thing, with a stick right here, right, and it kind of lay right here, and the trap is the bait is underneath that. Yeah. In the old days, the animal would come and try to get what was in there, and then the stone will fall on it. That's the word for offense. So when we get hit with offense, mama wasn't there, daddy wasn't there, you said this about me, we're in that trap. Now you're trying to love out of that place. You're trying to do relationship out of that place. And so I think the first thing is just recognizing that, man, you know what? I do have an offense toward this person. I didn't think I did, but I do. And for me, I know that I need forgiveness. Past stuff, present stuff, and there's going to be stuff in the future. I need my loved ones, my family members, God, I need to be forgiven. Times I'm going to miss the mark. How can I ask for it if I'm unwilling to give it?
Right.
That helps encourage me to say, man, I can't just freely receive forgiveness. I got to freely give it. Now, I don't do this in my own strength, because Andre by himself, apart from God, is not pretty. Yeah. God gives me the grace and the power to say, man, I forgave you for your worst, and I continue to. You can't forgive them? That helps me to say, man, Lord, you're right. And I think the forgiveness thing is simply just releasing that person. Because when you hold in unforgiveness and offense, you're in a trap, but you're holding it to you. Yeah. Forgiveness means that you're sending it away. You're releasing it. And it may not be a one-time process. I may have to forgive you 20 times until I feel like, you know what? I think I'm good. Yeah. I don't react when you come in the room like I used to, or when I see your number come up on my phone, I don't feel that way anymore. So I give myself the grace to know that, hey, it's a process. I'm going to release you. Hey, God, I forgive this person. I don't hold what they did against them. I name what they did. Man, they said this about me. Man, they misrepresented me right here. Man, they lied on me. Man, I forgive them, God. I release them, and I pray that you forgive them too. And Lord, help me not to hold nothing in my heart toward that person. And my pastor gave me a lot of game too, because I said, man, I'll do that sometimes, but I still feel. He said, don't worry about the feelings. He said, just go through the process of forgiveness. The feelings will come later. Just because you still are wrestling with feelings toward that person doesn't mean you haven't forgiven. Go through the process, and the feelings will come later. It seems tedious. It seems like a lot. But, man, this is what a lot of us are missing.
Yes.
Yeah.
A lot of the depression, bitterness, anger, rage, a lot of it, maybe not all of it, is unforgiveness trapped in our hearts towards so many people. And we're either unwilling or don't know that we need to forgive. Forgiveness is the antidote for a lot of our problems.
Amen.
Andre Ward is here, man. Horace, we got Chew on the line from Louisiana.
Chew, what up, Chew?
What up, man?
What we do? What up, Chew?
Business ambassador. Chew, go for it, man. What up, brother?
What up, family? What up, family? What up, champ? SOG.
What's up, my brother?
All right, so I got a quick story, and then I got a question. The story is my favorite fights that you were in, of course, was against Kovalev. I had a friend of the fair skin who also thought that the Russian nightmare was going to knock you down and all that. So we're watching the fight together. He knocks you down. You get up, you smile, and he's talking all kind of crap. When I saw that smile, I knew. I said, my money's still good. And then the second fight, he thought the same thing, and then you finished him off. The question is, who did you not get to fight that you would have liked to have fight the most? I thought it was Triple G, but is there somebody else you would have wanted to fight that you didn't get a chance to?
I think that fight with Golovkin, that would have been a big fight, and they just didn't want it.
Triple G.
No, I know they didn't.
They want it.
Yeah, I don't call him Triple G.
Okay, Golovkin. Okay.
Nah, he Lil G.
He Lil G.
Ever since he ducked me, he Lil G. I'm just what it is.
Lil G.
He Lil G.
Lil G. Okay.
That's just me. Don't that's that competitive and that's just me.
Triple G is now Lil G. Okay.
Yeah, but I just feel like that was the one the fans missed. That was one of the ones the fans missed because come on, man, like you 160 pounds, I'm 168 pounds. And I'm not a guy that goes and picks on smaller guys. But when I start hearing you talk about, we'll fight anybody. We'll fight anybody at 168. Oh, that's my weight class. Or 175. Oh, that's a weight class above me. Okay. Now you're going to get my attention. And they used every excuse in the book. They're making excuses to this day. So I think that's one of them that probably got away.
All right, Chew. Good question, Chew. We love you.
Appreciate you, brother.
He comes to all the fights with us, so we got
know his
people.
stuff?
Yeah, he know his stuff. Hey, Chew, I appreciate you, man. You're a super citizen, brother.
I'm Sway in the morning.
Sure, appreciate it, brother.
All right, let me take one more. We got Lord Rab from No Vultures podcast out of Oakland, California. And we got to shout out Hag Universe, my cousin Big Clee as well.
Clee,
come on.
Good morning, everybody. Hey, Dre, I got a quick question. I know it's business sometimes with you and Shakur and you mentoring him, but seeing Devin and Bill and knowing where we come from in Oakland, because I know you sold town business, do you ever feel torn if they have to fight? Would you feel torn if you in Shakur's corner and Devin is over there knowing his background and where they come from and being where we from? Not many people make it to that level.
Yeah, no, I respect what Devin and Bill has done and what they're doing right now. And it's their time right now. I could walk and chew gum at the same time. You know what I mean? I feel like I put enough time in the game where I stay out the politics. I know how to be a brother to one and be a brother to the other. And it's like I'm cool with Bud and I'm cool with Errol. And I talked to both of them before they fight individually. Bud came out to the Bay Area before his fight with Errol to get some work in. Was it work to try to beat Errol? Nah. I don't play those kind of games. But my brother want to come out and spend some time, we're going to spend some time. Like I'm an OG in the game, and I feel like I didn't earn that right. And nobody can tell me who I can stand next to and who I can't stand next to. Now, if that make a person feel a type of way, that's on them. But, I stay out the politics. I can love on Dev and shout Dev out, and have always done that when I'm behind the mic. Personally, if Dev ever asks for advice, see a lot of stuff going on off camera that people don't talk about and I don't talk about. But just know that just because you ain't seeing it, don't mean it ain't happening. And if they ever fought, I know how to play my position, and play my role. But the other thing too is like we got to look at it for what it is. Like, we got Oakland roots, but I don't have a personal relationship with Dev like that. It's love, it's respect. I can shout you out. It's a beautiful thing what you doing, man. And I've shouted the father-son thing out often because, you can't argue with what Bill is doing. So far, he ain't made no mistakes in terms of how he's moved his son in his career. But I don't have a personal relationship with them. It's not an open dialogue. Me and Dev will text every now and again. But me and Shakur came up under me.
Yeah.
Shakur reached out to me as a youngster and said, man, can I learn from you, man? You my favorite fighter. We got a different type of relationship, and I have to acknowledge that and be honest about that. So where we from and all of that's cool. But I'm going to be real about where the relationship is and how deep our relationship go.
Lord Rab, thank you for the question, man. I'll be out there next week, all right?
All right, see you then.
Okay, peace. No vultures.
So I got a question with this. When I seen you coming up in boxing and stuff like that, it seemed like you was going for greatness instead of being the richest fighter. It seemed like you was going to be like the greatest fighter of the era that was that the goal? Because there's fighters today, I feel like they're prize fighters. Niggas go for the money. They're looking at the greatness. But I think that you was built on something a little bit more different than just chasing that. I think that you was built on greatness. And like you said, guys like Shakur saying you're his favorite fighter.
Yeah.
And you being a gold medalist, I think that was one of the key things in boxing at that time, you being a gold medalist. And I never seen you duck none of your mandatories and none of your fights. So is there any fighters out there that you feel right now that you can see like they could use Andre Ward's help right now as far as training, guiding, mentorships and stuff?
I'm gonna back it up just a little bit and just say I was trying to get that legacy and that money.
Okay.
I was trying to get both.
Okay.
Walk and chew gum at the same time.
We got it. It's prize fighting.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I need that prize. I'm trying to get the biggest prize I can get.
Okay.
Because what y'all didn't see was that first fight
Boom.
before the fight.
Oh.
The negotiations.
The negotiations.
Oh, nice.
Were you with Rock Nation at that time, or?
Yeah, I got with Rock Nation after the lawsuit period, but I'm saying just my whole career.
Yeah.
Like I'm involved in negotiations.
All right.
Like I know my worth. I'm trying to get the biggest bag. But after we get that together, then it's about legacy.
So money came first.
I'm not gonna say it's first, but I mean we gotta get that out the way though. We gotta get this.
It's a part of the combo.
We gotta get
always.
Look, as much as you love this,
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
we gotta talk about the business.
I'm not doing it for free, Dre.
Come on.
Yeah.
I'm not here for free.
You up here early in the morning,
I'm
right?
here for free, man.
So I think you can do both. I don't think
Yeah.
it's I think you can do both. But I know what you're saying in the terms of some guys seem like they don't care about legacy, and it's just about the money.
Absolutely.
It's a lot of that going on, and some of that has to do with Floyd, and it's not Floyd's fault per se, but Floyd had two eras: Pretty Boy Mayweather, and Money Mayweather, and the youngsters, man, they want to bypass the Pretty Boy Mayweather phase, and they want to go straight to the Money May phase, and they just want to make it rain. They want to make it rain, right? And they want the big house, the big cars, and I can't knock somebody for wanting those types of things, but they are avoiding fights if they can. If they see that they can get the money without fighting top guys, they're not interested in fighting top guys no time soon. They just want to get the money. And that's cool if that's the route you want to go. Only problem I have is you can't start calling yourself the best.
Yes.
That's where we got to have a conversation now. I ain't on the pound for pound list. Well, you're not going to be on the pound for pound list because when we look at your resume, you got B- C+ guys. So get your money. Do what you got to do, but you can't say that you're the best if you're not fighting the best. And you shouldn't fight the best every fight out. That's too much. That's too taxing. You should have what we call tune-up fights.
Okay.
A lower level guy. But then every now and again, you got to round that out and say, okay, now I'm going after him now. In terms of who can help, I'm not really looking to, partner with a lot of fighters. I let that stuff come naturally, man, because sometimes people pulling on you for the wrong reasons.
Okay.
And I got to be sensitive. I feel like what I have is valuable, the time and, the expertise. And what I have is not for everybody.
Yeah.
So I just try to make sure I'm being sensitive that when somebody's pulling on me, it's the right thing to do. It's the right relationship I need to engage in.
For the right money, would you come out of retirement?
At this point, I probably wouldn't come out of retirement and fight like a real fight. I may do an exhibition or something like that.
Okay.
And it probably took me, I said this in the documentary, it took me about 5 years to get to that point where I could say that to you.
Yeah.
Because for the first 5 years, maybe, I don't know. I think right now, I'm content with leaving it alone.
Okay.
I think I'm content with leaving it alone.
Okay, but for a big bag, what number bag would
Right.
contest your contention? 40 million?
A big bag, I'm going to pray about it. Hold on, Lord. What you think I should do? Should I do this?
Okay.
I'm gonna call my pastor. What you think? But where the money conversation always trips me up is that I said I wouldn't just do this for money. Like when I called my lawyer the night I decided to retire, not the night I announced it, but the night I decided to retire, I hit him. I said, "Man, I just talked to my wife. Man, I think this may be it." And then in mid-conversation, I'm thinking about the numbers. I'm like, but hold on. I got to make sure I got enough to live on, man. We could do a couple. He said, but he checked me with my own words. He said, but wait a second. You said you would never just be boxing just for money. I was like, bro, I did And it really just humbled me and made me think, I swear I can't just do it for the money, bro.
Yeah.
As appetizing as that is, as much as I miss them boxing checks, I got to stand on what I said.
Yeah.
Because if the money moves me, I'm going to get off at some point in time. It's got to be God leading me. It's got to be, this is something I should do, not something I can do. I can pick up the phone right now and call James Prince, my manager. Jay, we finna do it. We coming back. Tens of millions of dollars. It sounds crazy to people, but it can't just be about the money with me. Because at some point, that's going to skew my mind and my vision and my feelings, and it's going to get me off track, and I can't start doing that at this stage in the game.
So your step away from the game when you retired, right? When you decided to retire, was it because of the business? It wasn't because of the competition. Was it the business of boxing that you were disgusted with and wanted you to step away from it?
No, it was a mixed bag. Sway said it in the beginning, man. It was, my boys are still in high school, sophomores and juniors. I wanted to finish their high school careers out with me being there more. And I'm a present father when I'm not training. But, truth be told, you gone half the year in training camp. So that was a factor. My body, the injuries start piling up. And just that the love was still there, but the love to leave my family and grind the way that I was, I started feeling that 2-3 years out. I started using the R word, man, on retirement. I'm like, dang, you talking about retirement. You ain't supposed to be talking like that. It was just time, y'all. It's like it's a deacon at my church, Robert Jenkins, man. He played many years in the NFL, and we used to talk about retirement. I was like, Deacon, man, how you gonna know when it's time to retire? He said, Dre, you just gonna know. He said, you're gonna wake up one day and you're not gonna want to do it no more. I studied my pastor, Napoleon Kaufman, who went to UW, All-American, played 6 years in the NFL, then retired abruptly and went to ministry and never looked back. I studied him. Pastor, what? He said, Dre, I just felt like that's something God wanted me to do. I studied Jim Brown. He was on the set of Dirty Dozens, sitting in his Army fatigues, in a director's chair, negotiating with the Cleveland Browns about coming back another year, and they didn't give him what he felt he deserved, and he walked away and never looked back. Played in a bunch of movies, did a lot for the community. I studied this stuff along the way. I knew that day was coming. I knew that that's how I was going to walk away. It was a timing thing. And when the timing felt right, like, man, I'm getting confirmation from my wife, from my pastor. I'm feeling it deep inside. I gotta go, man. I can't be moved off of what could be, what should be. Yeah, it was a lot of reasons, but the main reason is I feel like this is what God is telling me to do, and I gotta stand on that.
Andre Ward is here, man. I wish we could talk forever, but we could also do a part 2.
Yes, sir.
And one day he had to ask himself, what if I die? What if I die? You were doing a lot of things in your life that could have easily led to death. And you had to ask yourself, what if I die? And that seemed like that was a pivotal point, a crossroad in your life that put you on the right path. And this book, we didn't ask you a whole lot about boxing per se today because we wanted to ask you a whole lot about you. But this book right here is a great guide for not just boxers and other athletes, but just anybody in general. Like you're just looking for a story you can relate to. You're looking for, somebody who's being honest, as Tracy said, very transparent in this literature. Get this book, Killing the Image, A Champion's Journey of Faith, Fighting, and Forgiveness. This is a great book to give during the holidays, depending on what you celebrate. Hanukkah, Kwanzaa, Christmas, whatever it is you celebrate, hand somebody this book.
Come on.
Dre, before you leave, you said you're friends with T-Bug. I never bet against Crawford. I used to come, Horace and I went to his fights before he became who he is. A lot of boxers were like Shakur. He's been on our show before folks knew. Earl Spence Jr. deserves another shot, right, because of what he's done. But as a boxing fan, do you see a different outcome?
It's hard to see a different outcome given the way that first fight went.
Yeah.
Does he deserve it? Yeah. Contractually, he deserves it. Career-wise, he deserves it. That's his right to take it and not take it. Being a fighter, former fighter, one that's taking the punches, and now I'm 6 years into retirement, the competitor in me says, Errol, you got to go try to get that back, bro. But my better mind says no. Because it's a lot of punishment he took in that fight for whatever reason. Everybody got reasons why, this happened, that happened. The bottom line is it happened. And he also had 2 car accidents before that. That's taking a toll on his brain and his body. A lot of tough fights, a lot of tough sparring. Listen, bro, EJ done made the money. And I feel like personally, it's time to enjoy the fruits of your labor and enjoy your family. Mm-hmm. Because right now, getting some get back seems like everything. But 10, 15 years from now, it might not be so important. And as a brother to both of them, Bud was the better man. My message to EJ is, man, really think long and hard about this, man, and try to put your competitiveness, which is hard. I would need counseling.
Yeah.
For me not to get back in there a second time and try to get some get back. I would really need some people to talk to me and say, bro, it's not a good idea. Try to put the pride to the side, man, and try to look up and look at your family, your kids, and look at what you've built thus far and think about your life long term, because the YouTubers, the writers, they going to gas you up.
Yeah.
They not getting in there. They not with you at home. They not in them emergency room visits. They not gonna help you if you're not walking right and talking right when your career is over. You got to make this decision for you and your family. Mm-hmm. I personally would like to see him sit this one. I think that would be a big move for him to say, bro, you got that, and ride off in the sunset. But I can also understand him saying, nah, bro, regardless of what happened, I'm coming to get this back.
Okay. I recently saw Gervonta Davis and Devin Haney going back and forth on Twitter saying, what's up, it's time to do this. And Gervonta saying, man, I'm going to beat you so bad your daddy going to cry. You might as well enjoy this now.
He did say that.
If you was a betting man, is it too soon for Haney? Or is it too soon for Gervonta? No?
I don't think it's too soon. I think they can get it on, this upcoming year for sure.
Yeah.
I think it's a good time for them to get it on. That's how you got to make a fight. Like, Dev's star is rising. Gervonta's star, is rising. And he been selling out arenas for a while now, Gervonta. And they're going to have some stuff to work out, the weight class and different things like that. But every big mega fight, you're going to have, things that is going to be some sticking points, some stuff that's going to be hard to get through. But I think it's a beautiful thing. They both young. They both in their prime, and I would love to see the matchup. I'm not gonna give a prediction on it.
No, I know. I was gonna try to. Gonna try to walk you into one, but I could tell you wasn't.
Yeah, I'm still.
Yeah.
I'm still alert, man, and seeing them punches coming. But I would love to see it. I would love to see it. It's gonna be a beautiful matchup, and I think Dev looked very, very strong and sturdy.
He did
at 140. People that know behind the scenes, man, the kid was killing himself. To make 35, and I also agree with Deb that it shouldn't be no weight rehydration clause. No, we're gonna fight. We're gonna fight at whatever weight class we're gonna fight at, and that's gonna be it. And may the best man win. So I can't wait to see it.
And then I'll ask you this in finality of this beautiful conversation. Terence Crawford expressed interest in Canelo Alvarez.
Yeah.
Very different weight class, skill set. They're both elite boxers. If you were his manager, would that be something you would push?
I'm not shying away from that at all.
Okay, so take that fight.
Yeah, absolutely. Where Bud is right now in his career, number one. He's it's the right fight or we done.
Yeah,
that's where Bud is at right now. Terence Crawford can do everything in the ring. And he's a lot stronger than his weight class. Like, he's stronger than the average 147-pound. I done wrestled with him. I done been 200.
Wrestle? You don't wrestle with him? Because he's a wrestler.
That's like, listen, me and this dude compete at everything. As soon as we come in the ring, bro, you ain't gonna do. We arguing about a basketball game we played 2-3 years ago. He want to show me he's stronger than me. I'm like, dude, I know you wrestle, bro. I ain't giving you that. You ain't picking me up off the ground. We go back and forth. But I say that to say, man, the dude is he's physically strong. Okay. I'm not worried about Canelo's strength. Is it a dangerous fight for Terence going up in weight? Yeah. But is it a dangerous fight for Canelo fighting Terence? Absolutely. So don't let the weight classes fool you. Some people supersede a weight class. He can fight. He a throwback. Mentality-wise, physically, skillfully. The question is, does Canelo want to fight Terence Crawford?
Does Canelo want to fight? What do you think?
I'm gonna give him the benefit of the doubt and say we're gonna see, because I'm hearing that he's looking at Benavidez, or looking at Terence, or looking at one of the Charlo brothers. We'll see. But man, I'm not betting against Terence against nobody right now.
I love it, man. Hey, Andre Ward, man, thank you for coming
Appreciate
by.
you.
Get this guy a round
What
of
a
applause. I hope
treat.
you enjoyed yourself here, brother.
Yes, sir.
Every time,
Always do.
man. Come on, man.
I appreciate you.
Let's keep doing
I
it, man. I
appreciate
got to
you.
come by the church.
Yeah, come through.
Oh, yes.
All right? Okay.
Yeah, the Well Christian community in Livermore.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I'm very familiar. Andre Ward, shout out to Nick Childs. Did
Did a great job, Nick. Shout out to Nick.
Uh-huh.
Did a tremendous job, and he dealt with me for 2 years, and I like to say I'm a recovering perfectionist.
Yes.
So I'm working on it.
There you go.
But I ain't there yet. So he dealt with me, and I appreciate him, man. He did a great job.
All right, the book is Killing the Image, A Champion's Journey of Faith, Fighting, and Forgiveness. Say a peace and love to your family, brother.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing with us. We got to do a part 2.
Yes, sir.
Definitely, man.
Right?
Thank you for your truth. Thank
Yeah, I
you.
appreciate
Thank you.
y'all, man.
Thank you
Thank
for
you,
your
bro.
truth.
All right, cool.